It's fun. It's fun. So, yes, today we have our special friends and professional interviewer. So, like I told Diane, I'm a little nervous today because I was like, how do you interview Barbara Walter?
Oh my God.
Sawyer, Diane Sawyer, right? So,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, Diane Sawyer. Except
Yeah.
we have Diane Bogino today. Oh, wow. It's going to be a fun. We're already having some great laugh and we're just kind of ease into Tuesday talking about courage and determination. So, as always, I'm going to have my lovely partner kick off the conversation by introducing herself, and then I will follow, and then we're going to hand the mic over to our guest.
of course, yes. Thank you, everybody, for turning in. Hello again. My job is to kick off this show. So
A
and
tough one.
let me forget that. So here we go. For a lot of you who have not heard me, I'm Sarah M. I grew up in Cambodia, and when I reached college age, I attended college. And unfortunately, in 1975, my country got into a dark time. The dark time that set in the history for a long time. When the communist Khmer Rouge took over our country, they basically destroyed our country and they destroyed our life. I struggled through the system. I had a really hard time to survive. But with my courage and my determination and my love for my family, I made it through. So I'm grateful that I'm alive and was able to escape from captivity and also escape out of the country. So I'm here and so grateful. Back to you, Lee.
Thank you, Sarah. And Sarah and I, we both have books out there that we told our story, and we both are speakers. So we speak to encourage, we speak to inspire, and we speak to tell the story that so many of us have went through, and we didn't want that piece of history to be lost. Um, so my name is Lea Tran. If you have not been in this forum or conversation, we welcome you. Today is Tuesday, and for the month of May, we are talking about courage and determination, which is a very favorite topic between me and Sarah and our guests, because I think, many of us have that courage and we don't even tap into it. We don't know that we do. We have the power, but we underutilize our courage. And that's why we love to have this topic. But my background is a little different than Sarah, but very similar. I was also ran from away, fled from the communists, which occupied the South Vietnam in 1975. And we stayed in 4 years of the tyranny. And then my father finally took 495 people, along with my family of seven, on this derelict boat and just sail out to the sea and hoping that we will survive somehow. That was courage. That was the courage that I didn't understand at that time. But anyway, home below that God have saved us. We have gone through the oceans and the pirates and whatnot, and we made it to the United States. But it didn't stop there. That was just the beginning of the journey. And things have been ups and down many, many times over. I have my own ocean to cross after my dad passed away. That is more courage that I tap into. Didn't even know that that was a courage, because at that time it was a surviving skill that I was tapping into. So you can see that, this is our favorite topic. But I want you to know that you don't have to have a trauma, a tragic history background in order to have courage, like something that happened to Sarah and to me. Many of us have so many courage journey that we underestimate ourselves. We didn't think that that was something special. So today, Diane Bogino, actress, um, speaker, coach, consultant, but let me properly introduce her with her bio, if I can find the email. Okay, Diane Bogino is president of performance strategies and work with company of 500 or less. Small business often struggle with dysfunctional teams, costly turnover, and slow growth. Diane's Tandem Team X-ray program, you hear that? Just like zoom in and help build high performance team, reduce turnover, and increase growth. In a former life, Diane was an actress and a model. She's gorgeous. I have, like, no doubt. She appeared in a movie. Oh my goodness, she's an actress, yeah. And in numerous commercial and did a national spot for Delta Airlines. She also did voiceover, print, and runway model, not runaway. I'm sorry. At one time, she was the Daffy Diane. Some say she still is. You gotta explain to me what's a Daffy Diane. A magic clown, okay. She also performed magic as herself, winning Magician of the Year for Greater Atlanta. My oh my, Diane, what don't you do?
I don't do windows. Actually, I do, but
It's such a pleasure to have you here, and I want to say that Diane, not just all of the stuff that I'm talking about, she's a great interviewer as well, and I was so lucky to be on her platform last year, right around maybe this time, or maybe a little later. She was the first one who spotted me and said that I want you to be on my podcast, and I was like thrilled, super thrilled. So thank you, Diane, for being here.
thank you for inviting me. This is a real pleasure. I'm telling you, I've been looking forward to this. And we had our interview, Leah, about the time you were getting ready to launch your book. And so it was really an exciting time for you and for the whole VRS community around that book and getting it out there. And I think we've all helped publicize it just a little bit. So it's been exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great to have a community that support you, and I am just so happy that our path cross, and I've got to know so many exemplary people. So we would love to hear, how was your journey? How did you transform to so many things, from actress to actors? Actress to model, and then to now a consultant and speakers, and tell us a little bit about your journey.
Well, it's been a long one because I'm an old person. Okay.
No, you're not.
So it started a long time ago. I'm just going to start at the beginning so we can put some, a cohesive thing through this story. I was taken away from my parents. They were alcoholics, and I was placed in foster homes, my two brothers and I, and we were separated. And in the foster homes I was in, I was sexually abused. I was beaten one time. My two brothers were also abused in the homes they were in. Then when the third foster home I was in, my mother and father continued their domestic problems, and my father wound up dead. My mother was sent to prison. The state was going to put me up for adoption, but an aunt and uncle stepped in and brought me to Atlanta. So that's how I got to Atlanta. And they raised me until the time I was 18, and I left home when they went to buy groceries one day. They didn't abuse me, but they were very controlling, and I had no life, and in terms of social, how to interact with people or anything like that. And I thought I was too stupid to go to school, so I just got a job. At that time, women were just expected to get married and have babies and not think or anything. So I got married and had two children, and it was not a great marriage in the end, and that wound up ending. And I just came home one day and I said, people just can't be meant to think about themselves like this, because other people talked about themselves in positive ways, and I thought I was dumb and ugly and of yet no value, and it just hit me, this just can't be right. And I started therapy, and that's when I started the acting, and started taking acting classes, and I did wind up in a movie called Something Special, but it wasn't. And so I found myself modeling. And one time I was on a runway, and a gentleman in the audience said, "You look great in that dress." You cannot imagine what that did for my ego. So it just started building from there. And after my divorce, I did go to school finally. I was already in my 40s at that time. And I got my undergrad in psychology. And later on, during my current marriage, I've gotten a master's in industrial organizational psychology, which is where the consulting, the coaching, the team building comes in. So you're probably exhausted. That's the end of the show.
No, oh my God, what a journey. What a journey. And you really have come a long way from such an opposite spectrum, you know, from somewhere that you thought yourself was the ugly duckling, and then you have grown into a swan, and being a model and being a anchor, you know, like a TV person now. So that is a courage journey.
Yeah, it I tell you what, when you are abused as a child, it takes a lot of courage to overcome that, to get yourself out of it. You got to make decisions, though, because at some point in your life, you do become in control of your life. Okay. Right. Back then, no, you don't have control. The state's pushing you anywhere they want to put you. If something is bad going on in a home, they just take you out of that home. They don't do anything to those people. So you've got to find a way to make better decisions for yourself. And thank goodness I was blessed with curiosity, and I liked learning, and a good sense of humor. So I think those two things have really helped me make better decisions, and to help put that place in my life where it should be, right in the past, but learn from it.
Right. So it is great that you're actually latching on some of the encouragement and get yourself out of that self-negative talk. And sometimes it does take only one person to tell you that you have potential.
That's true.
And yeah. So you are gorgeous. You are beautiful.
You're hired. I'll send you another check, Leah.
No, seriously, I don't even know how you even think that you are ugly and dumb, and you make us feel like, okay.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I think my face is red. God, thank you, Leah. But, you're just kind.
But that's a long journey. That is a really courageous journey from being in a foster home, shuffling around, and grow into here. So what makes you go into this route to help other with consultants and into the business realm instead of a personal coaching?
When you do, I work a lot with executives, but I can tell you this, that executives have struggles just like everybody else.
True.
And coaching, as you know, goes with business and life. Right. Because if one or the other is out of balance, then you're just unhappy, and you're not functioning at your highest level of productivity in either life. So there is a lot of different things to uncover, even if it starts out in business coaching, because you've got to get everything in sync and settled and happy on both sides of the fence. Otherwise, it just doesn't work.
That's true. That's very true. Sometimes we think the CEOs and the CFO, so much higher, but they are just like the rest of us, 1 foot. I mean, they still have to wear their pants 1 foot one after the other, right?
That's right.
Just like us.
That's
and
right.
Personal growth and personal development are very in sync with whatever you do in the business as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I know that you have interviewed a lot of people And can you tell me, is that what that platform is for? Is it more of executive people that you interview, or what's the purpose of those podcasts or interviews for?
It's I like to interview entrepreneurs such as you ladies, and we got to get Sarah on there next. But I interview entrepreneurs. I had a neighbor one time, and my neighbor said to me he had stowed away on a ship escaping communist Cuba. And when Fidel Castro came in, so he came to America with nothing. He started his own business. He was an electrician, raised his family, very nice family. And one day he said to me, he said, Diane, if you're not making money in America, you're not trying.
Yeah.
Talking about the opportunity here. So I interview entrepreneurs because I love business and I love entrepreneurs. And I love to see the way people make a living at what they love to do. And yes, I do interview the occasional business person because they bring a lot to the table too, in terms of leadership, how to grow a business, leadership philosophies and things of that nature. But it is geared to entrepreneurs, and the videos are meant to be a marketing vehicle for them. So it's really all about them and their business.
That's awesome. So you have written books as well.
Yeah, I've
Tell
written
us a little bit about what's in your book.
the one that we were talking about before we went live is Finding Your Bootstraps, 11 Steps to Overcoming Victim Thinking, which is my life story. But even that has to be updated now because I found out that the man that's mentioned in my life story was not my biological father. I had my DNA done. I'm actually from a different family. But I'd met them. They contacted me. I kept telling them, no, this name's not my family tree. But they invited me to a family reunion, and I went, and it was overwhelming to see the family cemetery. And when people left, they said, thank you so much for coming. We're glad you came, because this man had no children. He was married to his wife for 30 years. Now, how he and my mother got hooked up, I don't know. But anyway, so he had no children. Did you interview him? No, they were all dead by this time.
Oh,
so
okay.
Yeah, that would have been neat though, right?
Yeah, it would be a great story.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the family reunion is with your real family?
My biological father's family, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Are they also in Atlanta?
No, they are, this family reunion was in North Carolina. So they're from Virginia and North Carolina. I'm originally from Virginia.
I see.
But my mother was born in Atlanta. So.
Did you ever get reunited with your brothers who were?
Oh, yeah. One is deceased now, but yes, we've seen each other over the years. And of course, my mother, now here's a story you don't want to tell. My mother got cancer and she died in my home. But when I brought her here were the words out of her mouth. This is the happiest I've ever been, laying here on my deathbed. I don't want that for anybody. I do not want those words to be on somebody's lips at the end of their life.
Wow.
I know how to kill a party, don't I?
I have no idea. You have such a heavy stories. You just seem very cheerful and very successful, and I would never ever have guessed that you have been such a trauma childhood.
Well, I'm sure that people don't know what you ladies have been through either. I mean, you talk about what you went through. How I can't imagine the fear. I read a little bit about your book and heard about your story in our interview, and the things that you, like the guy taking you down in the bottom of the ship, and you didn't know what he was going to do to you. And you're a little girl. I mean, and coming to a land you know nothing about.
I think lots of us are brave in a sense that because we didn't fathom the atrocity at that time. Mm-hmm. Just like when you were young, you were shuffling around from family to family. I mean, looking back, I'm sure you think, oh my gosh, how much that little girl have went through, and how brave she was.
You make a good point though, Lea, that children, they don't have anything to compare it to.
No.
you know. So
No.
I guess it's a blessing and a curse because number one, they don't know how to get out of it, but they don't know life
Right.
could be different.
Right. And I think the caveat is you're probably going to have to go back and analyze it and let that little girl go, or else it will trap in that stage of unknowns and scare, but not knowing the reason behind it. And I think that's why we love to talk about it, in a sense that we free ourselves from being trapped in that stage of that trauma stage. Lots of us been through it. Does not even have to be something dramatic like your story, my story, or Sarah's story. It could be just something, one incident. That's all it needs, and that mind can stay there for a long time with
That's
no
true.
no way out.
That's true. And different people react to different things in different ways, of course, and things can be very traumatic for people. And you make another good point in that people that suppress these stories and try not to talk about them don't do themselves any service at all. And there are so many people. Well, you know, there's a lady in our VRS group that struggles with getting her own story out there, but think of the people that could benefit. And yes, it's painful. It's painful for the people that are involved. I mean, in my
Right.
case, they're all
Yeah.
deceased now.
But we can make it light. Like, we laugh about it. You know, you laugh about your story and I laugh about mine. And
Yeah.
I think we all have to make it light because the topic can be really heavy. Like, many times I was thinking, how on earth of a 21 years old, like Sarah did at the time, get
Wow.
out of the jungle, could stepping on mines, and could, I mean, it's like, that is the most prime time of your life, right? And you don't think about that. And you think about every single step that you make could be a potential, that's it, boom, it could be at the end. And I'm just getting chills just thinking
Me too.
about that.
Me too.
And it is heavy topics, but we were lucky we get out. Now we have to make it light so other people can learn from it. So I think psychologically, there could be a lot of damage if we don't open the door and let that girl, that boy out,
All right.
because they will trap forever.
Sarah, did your family take you out or did somebody else take you out of the jungle?
I went out with my cousin, my mom cousin actually, but we were about the same age.
Wow.
But
That's courage.
I'm the only person in my family to get out.
That's
So
courage.
yeah, it's very dramatic because in Asian country, family is everything to us. So during those 4 years struggle in the communist regime, I was all by myself also. And then when I faced a need for escape, I escaped out by myself. So it just very, we had to do it. You know, it's a necessity.
Yeah. Yeah, at the time, my mom almost signed me and my brother to live by ourselves with her friends, family. Had we gone with them, we probably end up in Japan right now because that's where they're settling. They didn't have a choice, and I don't know what ship rescued them, but I have seen countless of teenagers that family couldn't afford to go the whole family, and they just sent the most oldest kids to go with strangers or neighbors or relatives, and it end up a lot of abusive, end up a lot of things that misfortune that happened to them. And I have to say that many time I am counting my blessing because my dad say, we're gonna die together. If we die, we're gonna die together. If we make it, we're gonna make it together. We're not gonna let them two go by themselves. And I'm so grateful that he decided for that.
Talk about courage.
It is tough. It is tough. So I have a lot of hearts for kids at the border that parents actually let them cross the borders by themselves. It really really break my heart to see that, you know, we think that those kids are dangerous to us. It just is incredible how we can think very, I hate to say it, but in a selfish way, that we don't think beyond ourselves. You know, it's just like, in a sense, it's just because I have been through it and I've seen all of that, and personal experience is very, very strong when you have already been through it. So I'm sure you probably have a lot of empathy for foster children
Yeah, it's a shame that kids get put in such situations. I was just thinking about the border when you were talking. It's amazing. How did you and Sarah meet?
serendipity. I was at the NSA meeting, and this person sat next to me, and I was doing my 30, 60 second, pitch, who I am and whatever. And then he passed me a little note. He was like, well, you got to meet my friend, Sarah. And then he introduced us. And then we met once. And then last year, I just called her up and was like, let's do something. Because I really think that both of us, the ocean and the jungle, we could really shake the earth.
That's the next book, The Ocean and the Jungle. I love it.
But you are so true in a sense that whatever the personal journey, it all affecting on your decision of being an executive in the company. Because sometimes as a childhood fear or things, wall that you build for yourself, it could very much be affecting the decision that you make or the people that you trust or don't trust as an adult.
That's right.
Have you seen the correlation between the personal tragedy with the way that people do business or carry out their decision?
Oh yeah, people's circumstances in life have a great impact on them, just like you were talking about earlier. And they may think that that's the way to lead, the way that they were raised, and they're very wrong in many cases. Yeah.
So are you coaching the company, or you just coach individual? You go in as a team? And
yeah, both. For example, I have a client that I work with assessments, and so I administered assessments to the team, and then I debriefed them individually, but then I went to where they are and did a program, and they asked me to do a strategic planning for them off site, which I did, and actually got them working better together, and they reached $1 billion goal they were trying to reach.
Wow.
And so they're
$1 billion with a B.
with a B.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, they were so dysfunctional teams are what I like to work with in smaller companies, because decisions get made quicker. But it's what I love about this is helping people understand themselves, both from a perspective of understanding their strengths and what they bring to the table and the value they have. In fact, the assessment I use actually lists their value to the organization. Uh-huh. And I love that. And this is so funny, Lea. You and Sarah are going to love this. I did my first in-person presentation a week ago. Oh. And so I asked the folks, I said, okay, I want you to go through and do this exercise. I want you to list the 3 top things that you think that you bring to this business that will help you and the business grow. And they all struggled to find something or to think of something. I said, look at your assessment. Go back to that page. Start there. I'm like,
I know.
That's the way we are.
I think so, because a lot of time is under our nose, and we don't feel like we have anything special because we always looking so hard, and yet it's all right there.
That's right.
It's all it needs is somebody to just like point them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And even, we all have weaknesses, of course, but that's not something that you need to dote on. If you need to improve something, then do it. If you don't need it, forget about it, forget about it. But it's mostly in companies to help people, particularly now. Oh my goodness, with this pandemic and the need for emotional quotient EQ training. I'm about to recertify in that. That's the other thing I liked about our
Emotional
company.
intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
they make
big.
us.
That's
They,
big now.
yeah, they make us recertify every 2 years, so we stay up to snuff on things like that. Yeah, so it's those types of things, understanding one another and being able to communicate better, so that you and the company are at the highest level of productivity and performance is essential for sure.
How do you encouraging them to take a leap and make the courage to change whatever they need to change in order to? Sometimes people are so binding to their old habits or the way that they do things, and they don't
That's true.
want to change. How do you encouraging them to take that courage?
Well, sometimes you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And sometimes it just takes people a long, 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 long time to make changes. And I see changes, like if I've been coaching someone for 2 or 3 years, I see changes that they just don't see. I wish I had a videotape,
No.
but I can sit down with them and say, look what you're doing in this area of your life that you were afraid to do before. Look how you feel about this now. Look how you see this differently.
Right.
I mean, even one of my clients has learned to communicate better with his wife and not try to force her to do things she doesn't want to do in terms of a career or whatever. So he's learned to talk to her differently, thank goodness,
Yeah, I think once you improve in one area, you're more likely to improve all around.
True. Yeah, it grows. It just and you begin to see the value of it, and I think enjoy it. I'm always constantly looking for ways to improve myself. I mean, it's a full-time job.
I think that's why we're clicking so well. I mean, all the people I click with have a desire to excel, always.
Yes. Yeah. And people don't get up from bed and say, "Oh, I hope I do a lousy job at work today." It's not. They don't do that. But things just
but they
happen.
don't strive for perfection. Is a big word, but they don't even try to make progress in a sense that they just loosey-goosey. There's like, it's okay, I don't care. But if you don't care, you're not going to make progress.
That's right. And I think
those
are the people that are probably hurting the most, the ones that say, I don't care.
Right, true. I would love to ask more questions, but I know that our time is coming to an end. Unless Sarah have something that she want to ask you about before we close up. And
No, I just want to compliment Diane that although you struggled in your childhood, you couldn't be a negative person. You couldn't be depressed and sad and become a destructive person. But instead, you didn't do that.
And you shine the light on people by interviewing them. That's what I love about, you're interested in other people's story, which I really admiring. I mean, you inspire me somewhat to even thinking about having guests on here, because for the first couple months we just talked, and we had a lot to talk about.
Just the two of us.
That's right.
But any last word, Diane, about what you would encouraging people, or any advice about courage to our audience?
I would just want people to believe in themselves. And if they do want a copy of the book, just email me and I'll send them a copy of the book. Because there are exercises in there that they can start with. You just have to start with little steps if you want to make changes in your life. And nothing in your life is going to change until you do.
And I love it because you got to get out of that victim mindset. That's the first thing to change yourself.
Oh yeah, that's
the biggest thing. And spoiler alert, because I just checked on the Amazon and Diane's book was listing for $920. So if you want to get a free copy, you hurry up and send her the request.
I'm going to be rich.
But anyway, I would love to have a copy, yes. And it's just so glad to have you here with us. And I really appreciate you take the time and be here with us, Diane. Thank you so much.
Thank you.